Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're making a classic, lasagna. And because it's Lent and so many people have asked for a meatless option, today we're making a basic 3-cheese lasagna with no meat. And of course, this brings me back to my very first episode, The Secret of the Italian Gravy. And so many people said to me, you don't put meat in your gravy. Of course I put meat in my gravy. Every Italian puts meat in my gravy. But how do you make a meatless lasagna during Lent if you started your gravy with meat? You can't. That's why my great-grandmother, all of us, we make that enormous gravy, okay? When it's cooked a few hours, we take out half, we put it in the freezer. Just for times like this, meatless lasagna. You need to make a vegetarian eggplant. You have someone that doesn't eat meat. That's the whole purpose of it. After I take that half out, I put my meat in. I put my meatballs, my sausages, my bresaolas, my neck bones, whatever I'm going to put in there, I put in there. I let it cook on the stove for a few hours. But the whole purpose of that is so that we can make dishes like this, okay? And while I'm talking about the gravy episode, a lot of people have commented when I tell people, you know, it's 5 generations old. Well, they wanted to see a picture. So guys, here's a picture. This is my great-grandmother, Adelina Chilo. She was born in 1887 in Avellino, Montefiore. She lived till New Year's Eve Day, 1995. She was 108. In this picture, she was 106. This is my great-grandmother, my grandmother, my mother, my 2 sisters, and my youngest daughter, Gabrielle Marie. So, everything that I do comes from her. She influenced my family for 5 generations, not just in food, in life. Okay? And guys, her translation was gravy. Okay? It was gravy. This is the reason why I do most of the things that I do, including call it gravy. Okay? So what we're going to do is I'm going to get ready behind me, and when we come back, we're going to be making lasagna. All right, everybody. We're back, and I'm going to give you the ingredients first for our ricotta filling. Okay, I have 2 pounds of whole milk ricotta. I have 8 ounces of fresh mozzarella that I'm going to shred when we get back. I have a ½ cup of Pecorino Romano and a ½ cup of grated Parmesan, 5 eggs, and a little bit of cracked pepper. Now, I have boiled lasagna, okay? Let me say this. They do make lasagna that you don't have to boil. I've used it. My mother's used it. It's okay. I'm not going to say it's terrible. It's certainly not the same as real lasagna that you boil. So today, I'm going to boil my own lasagna. If you need to do it in a pinch, I'm not saying it's wrong. You can certainly use it. If you have the time, boil lasagna. It'll be much better. So I'm going to get this all ready. I'm going to get my water boiling, and when we come back, we're going to drop it in, and I'm going to mix that filling. All right, guys. How much salt? About that much, okay? Just like the gravy. My great-grandmother put it in, so I put it in. Just the way it is. Give it a stir, and now you gotta gently put your lasagna in, okay? And of course, if you have a pan this big, I suggest you use it because it makes it a lot easier to get all your lasagna in. All right? So I'm gonna get all these in. We're gonna stir this up so they're not sticking. And when we come back, we're going to be mixing our ricotta filling. Alright everyone, this is what that 8 ounces of fresh mozzarella looks like once I've run it through the shredder. That's going to go in, along with our cup of grated Pecorino Romano and Parmesan cheese. Alright. The 5 eggs, and then there's some cracked pepper. Okay, and here we go. So I am going to incorporate this very, very well, and when we come back, we're going to drain our lasagna, and we're going to start assembling to put it in the oven. We'll be back. Alright everyone, here we are. There's really only 3 components to putting your lasagna together. The ricotta mix, your lasagna itself, and of course the gravy. Now you can see what I did here. This is kind of a family thing that, you know, after you strain your lasagna, you hang it over the pot. So one, it doesn't stick to one another, and two, it's very easy to grab when you're assembling. This is going to be 4 layers of lasagna, 3 layers of ricotta filling, and gravy in between each layer. Okay, so the first thing we start with is gravy at the bottom. Because of course, you don't want it to stick. And don't be afraid with your gravy, because you definitely want it to be moist. You certainly don't want it to be dry. Okay? So now we start. 1, 2, 3. Now, you see how easy that was? Number 1, I knew that my lasagna was going to fit in that pan. That's a very important thing. It's very important to know the pieces that you have are going to fit nicely in your pan. Cut them if you have to, or if you're going to make, you know, if your pan is bigger, you need to put a piece and a half, but be ready for that. You don't want to have to cut or rip lasagna to fit it in the pan. That makes it so much easier. Okay? Then, I'm going to put a layer of ricotta, which, for me, start off with 3 spoons. Spread that around. Looks like I'm going to grab at least a 4th spoon there. For this side, maybe even a little more there. And you know, sometimes you might have to put your finger in that piece of lasagna to hold it while you're spreading it out. Right? I'm going to get that end right there. Don't be afraid. Swing your pan around. You know something? I need just a little more. Boom, right there. Okay. Once you get it in, nice and evened out, make sure you get your corners, no skimping. Alright. And now, we're going to add another layer of gravy. Alright, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to spread this around, and I'm going to do this 3 more times. Okay? 3 more layers of lasagna with 2 more layers of ricotta, and when I get back, we're going to be ready to put it in the oven. Alright everyone, so here it is. Like I said, that's 4 layers of lasagna, 3 layers of the ricotta, gravy in between each one, and the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take just a little of that grated Pecorino, Romano, and Parmesan, and I'm going to sprinkle it across the top, just like that. Oh yeah, delicious. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in the oven at 350. We're going to start at about 45 minutes, and we're going to give it a check. Alright everyone, we're ready to check on our lasagna. This has been in about an hour, and I'll tell you, the first thing I like to do is I like to take a cake tester and just give it a test, because it's thick. And I want to make sure, hey, it's ready. Okay, here we go. That's nice and hot in the middle. And we're going to take this out. And what we're going to do is I'm going to let this sit here about 10-15 minutes, because you know you can't cut lasagna too quick. It'll be mush all over the place. We're going to let that set up about 10-15 minutes, and we'll be back with the final product. Alright guys, here it is. This is a classic 3-cheese lasagna. Now let me say this. A lot of people, they put meat in their lasagna. Sometimes you just make a meat gravy. What I like to do is I'll get like a dozen meatballs and I'll slice them up, and I'll put 2 layers of meatballs in there. It's all in your preference. It's all in what your family did. This is a true Italian dish, because we all know that a lot of things that we make here in America, they're not truly Italian. If you go to Italy, they don't serve macaroni with meatballs. Never. There's no chicken parmesan. If you ask for chicken parmesan in Italy, they're going to look at you funny. They eat their chicken cutlets with mashed potatoes and peas. Okay? A lot of things that we consider Italian, when our ancestors came here, they cooked with what they had in America. The things that they had in Italy, they didn't have here. So, you know, things change. Traditions change. So a lot of things, they're not like they are in Italy. Lasagna, this is one of those things that's still this way in Italy. I just got back last month. I was in Chaka for Feast of la Madonna, February 2nd. We had lasagna in Palermo. We had lasagna in Rome. There were two different lasagnas, but they were fabulous. So we can say that lasagna, it's truly something that came from Italy. So, let's see what we got. Ooh. Guys, that's fantastic. Make this, you make this on a Friday for Lent because it has no meat. Remember what I told you about the boiling pasta versus the non-boiled pasta? It's really, if you have the time, I would suggest you boil it. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Live, Laugh, and Cook Italian. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I hope you enjoy.